This is the River Taff in South Wales. It runs from the wild summits of the Brecon Beacons to the capital city, Cardiff. I love this river, I absolutely love it. 40 years ago, the Taff was declared officially dead, killed by centuries of heavy industry. But today, it's one of the finest fishing rivers in Wales.
How is that fish still on?
My name is Will Millard. I'm a writer and a fisherman. I want to see how this river has come back to life.
It's so cold.
It may be short. You can walk the length of the Taff in 3 days. But it runs through a stunning landscape packed with history. I want to get to know this river.
Damn.
From source to sea.
Salmon from the city centre. What a river.
This is the story of the River Taff. I moved to Cardiff 7 years ago, but had no idea it was home to such a special little river. The Taff runs through the heart of the city, and in recent years has seen a resurgence in salmon and other fish species returning to spawn. It's a fascinating place to fish.
Right, this is my magic box of tricks for today. I've got a tub of maggots, and then hopefully in here I've got some floats. First started learning to fish when I was 4 years old. My granddad bought me a welcome to course fishing package from Argos. I had this little red rod, this little steel thing. So I learnt a lot off my granddad. A proper waterway, it's never just going to give up its secrets. The River Taff is such an unlikely river. It's an urban environment. And yet you've also got a genuinely clean river that's got genuinely big fish in it. Got it, I'm in. Oh, it looks like a grayling. Now these fish will fight to the death. They are as slippery as butter. Oh, he's pulled out. The amount of times that happens, you wouldn't believe it. This 100-metre stretch of the river here, I've been fishing it fairly solidly now for about 5 years. And I feel that I know it intimately well. Oh, yes! You know, I know that trio of rocks behind there's a bit of a gutter and it's a really good fish holding area. I know that there's fish underneath that willow tree over there, and I know that there's fish directly downstream of that big sort of rocky patch of fast water. But if you take me out of here, I know nothing. I don't know this river at all. Upstream of here, I really don't have a clue.
From Cardiff, the Taff stretches north, running through the industrial heartland of the South Wales valleys. But its story begins high in the Brecon Beacons. This is one of Britain's most popular national parks, attracting over 4 million visitors every year. And the most well-trodden path of all is the trail to the top of Pen y Fan. There are actually 2 river taffs amid these hills, the Fawr and the Fechan, the big and the small, which come together further downstream.
And here it is, the summit of Pen y Fan, the highest point in southern Wales. And it's a very, very popular spot, as you can see. It is simply stunning. I can see almost everything out here. This ridgeline here separates the 2 main arms of the Taff Fawr on that side and then the Taff Fechan down there. And you can just make out in the far distance the reservoirs. And I can even see so far as the Bristol Channel. So actually right here in this spot, the whole stretch of the river is encapsulated in one view. Marvellous.
I want to follow the Taff from its highest point, and that's the source of the Taff Fechan.
Oh, hang on. This looks promising. Goodness me. I think this could be it, actually. Oh, isn't that just the prettiest thing? Tiny, tiny little stream. This is it. This is the source of the River Taff. And just in here, if I peel back this moss, I can feel the water running over my fingers. Do you know what? That was actually quite easy. I was expecting to spend most of the day out here looking for this.
From the Brecon Beacons, the two Taffs tumble south, growing in strength. On the way, they flow through the heavily industrialised South Wales valleys. But the Upper Taff is still a wild place where people come to lose themselves.
Okay, tonight's scenario then for this training is we have a casualty out on the hill.
The job of finding them again falls to the Central Beacons Mountain Rescue Team. Over 50 volunteers from all walks of life. And one who knows this stretch of the river better than most is Hugh Jones, a civil servant who's been with the team for 34 years.
Dave, our navigator, now will pick up a point on the river that we'll aim for, get down to the river, and then that's when the search will start in earnest.
Tonight, another member of the team is posing as an injured hiker, lost somewhere in the valley.
It's pretty wild out here. Just looking at the volunteers now, fanning out in their search, it is pretty much like looking for a needle in a haystack.
The team covers over 1,000 square miles, but this uncompromising landscape sits cheek by jowl with the towns of the South Wales valleys, some of the poorest places in the country. This presents a unique challenge for the volunteers.
Hello, Kate.
Who often find themselves called upon to search for vulnerable individuals, so-called despondents.
Next of kin, please, Kate.
Some of whom don't intend to return.
That's my brother-in-law.
We get called to search for people who perhaps have gone off with the intent of doing the ultimate and not coming back themselves. Our urban searches, where we get called to search for, as we classify them, vulnerable people missing from the valley towns and communities. Can be up to as many times as we called up to the Brecon Beacons here for hill walkers, climbers and bikers.
Is there an underlying social cause or?
Quite possibly. Difficult to identify an exact reason for it, but when you look at the course of the area that the Taff flows through, real strong legacies of mining backgrounds, industrial backgrounds, ironworks, steelworks, and is the infrastructure in place there that to help sort of safety net that once it's withdrawn from the area, I guess is a question to ask perhaps. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You like to think that, you know, by finding them and getting them back down off the hill, you're giving them another chance.
The thought of somebody coming out here to commit suicide is quite a harrowing one, really. And I think that for people like you and the volunteers, it can't help but change the way you view the countryside in your own backyard. There is no getting away from the fact that I am only 45 minutes from a city centre. I'm only 10 minutes away from a town. But actually out here, right now, in this forest, in the dark, with the River Taff behind me there making its noise, I feel so far from home. And I guess that's the thing about the Taff. It's 45 miles long, that's it. Yeah, I'll challenge you to find any other river in Britain that goes through such a varied landscape.
As I push on south, the mountain river has been dammed to form a series of vast reservoirs. This is the first sign of the Industrial Revolution that took place along this river 250 years ago. A revolution that changed the Taff, Wales and the world. In the mid-1700s, iron ore was found in abundance just downstream of here, and an industry was born. People poured into the valley, but such rapid growth proved lethal, both for the river and the local population. Waste, industrial and human, flowed into the Taff. Cholera, typhus and dysentery were rife. To provide clean water, this valley was flooded around the turn of the 20th century, creating these reservoirs. The waters are dark and deep, and I can't resist casting a line.
Oh dear me. Something wrong with the hook? No. Must be a problem on the other end of the rod. Oh, yep. This one's well hooked, he's not coming off. There we go, look at that in the light. Fantastic little perch. And he's still fighting, pugnacious animal. Just look at that. I mean, he is absolutely engulfed that lure. That is ridiculous. That has to be the greediest fish in Wales. You can see there, that is just built for predation. Big spiky dorsal fin, armoured gill plates, beautiful dark stripes down the body. Impossible to see from the top, pale underneath. Can't be seen if you're underneath it. If you are a fish of this size or smaller, you are history. There we go. Let's pop him back and see if we can find his mum.
I'm approaching Merthyr Tydfil, once the biggest town in Wales. But on the way, I pass through one of the Taff's best kept secrets.
I'm in the Taff Becan Nature Reserve, and this has got to be one of the most beautiful pieces on the whole River Taff. And I'm here to meet a group of community volunteers that do more than anyone else to keep this place as stunning as it is.
It's a magical place, and Wildlife Trust Officer Caris Solman is responsible for keeping it that way.
Hazel isn't really a tree, it's more of a shrub. And so if you chop it completely down, it'll just all sprout back.
She grew up just south of here in Merthyr and leads a team of dedicated local volunteers.
If you're not from around these parts, a lot of people wouldn't even realise this place is here, would they?
No, loads of people don't. And lots of local people still are yet to discover it. It's a really well-kept secret for Merthyr. The Gurness estate is just up there, Trevechan estate is just up there, so it's sort of sandwiched between the two, but you'd think you're in the middle of nowhere, you wouldn't know it.
Absolutely.
It's a lovely place.
The river has carved its way through the rock over millennia, creating a deep gorge lined on either side by thick woodland. But somehow, a car has ended up in the river. There's not much left of it now, but fallen trees have become jammed against it, causing a blockage.
Why is it important to remove it though, Caris? Why can't you just leave it where it is?
Well, apart from the sort of, it doesn't look nice, it does form an obstruction for migrating fish. We've got trout in here, and very recently, we've started having Atlantic salmon come back up these rivers. So we want to make it a place for them to come to and breed. A research project was tracking them with radio satellite signal, and it got this far and it kind of turned around and left again. So we are working to make this part of the river more welcoming.
Caris is running things from up top, Paul's running things from down below. And I'm stuck in between like a lemon. I'm not doing it. How's it going, Paul?
Going pretty well so far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's not going to sweep you downstream then.
Bit of luck though.
The guy that was here manning the safety rope, which presumably is attached to Paul to stop him from disappearing down the river, has gone. I've got him.
Oh, I can't wait to see this out of the river.
There it is. You've been looking at that on all of your walks, haven't you?
Annoying me. Oh.
Absolutely.
The volunteers are drawn from Merthyr and the villages around. They find peace working in the woods and a cup of tea shared with friends.
There's a whole world out here, and pick up a log or look in the river and you see something you've never seen before, and suddenly the world's bigger.
For some in the group, volunteering has made a real difference to their lives.
I needed some sort of outlet because I just lost my mother, and my doctor said I should sort of face it head on. And one day I saw this poster, they're looking for volunteers for the Taff Nature Reserve. So I thought, why not, I'll give that a go. It helped me a lot, because I could have been sat in the house dwelling on things and probably gone on a downward spiral. If anyone else has gone through the same, I recommend they should get out, do a bit of volunteer work or whatever's right for them, help them get over something that's happened in their lives. It gives them a lot of strength to carry on.
The River Taff and Merthyr, people associate that with industry and possibly the river as being maybe polluted and quite industrial, but if they did just stop and have a look at the river here, it is really beautiful, and they'd really be surprised, yeah.
Just south of the reserve is the confluence of the two Taffs, where the Vechan meets the Vawr in the shadow of the Cefn Coed viaduct.
The contrast at this point is quite remarkable. Up there, it still looks very wild and very natural, but down there, well, the hand of man is quite obvious. This is beginning to look like a river that's being harnessed.
You'd never know, but this was once one of the greatest industrial sites on Earth, the Cyfarthfa Ironworks. People flocked from far and wide to work here. At its height, it employed over 5,000 people. The waters of the Taff turned a massive 50-foot-high water wheel that powered the furnaces.
This is the site of the Cyfarthfa Ironworks.
Quite impressive, isn't it?
It is impressive, yes.
Local historian Chris Parry is going to show me around this lost wonder of the industrial age.
Massive, isn't it?
It is. It's 50 feet in total, really.
Under the control of the pioneering and powerful Crawshay family, these works had a profound effect on the modern world. But today, this is all that remains.
6 complete blast furnaces, all dating back from the early 19th century and arguably even before that, when the works were founded in 1765.
Wow.
You can count on one hand, if that, the amount of sites around the world that have 6 complete blast furnaces dating back to this early period. I mean, the start of the Industrial Revolution in Britain. When the furnace at Cyfarthfa started in 1765, there wasn't a town really. And Cyfarthfa was Merthyr's first true big success story. It was Britain's biggest ironworks, producing more than any other ironworks in Britain, and arguably the world's largest ironworks. So it wasn't just of huge significance to Merthyr, it was of huge significance to the world, essentially, at this time.
By the early 1800s, Merthyr was responsible for 40% of Britain's iron exports. But 100 years later, as the First World War came to an end, the works closed and have since fallen into ruin.
As you can see, the site is vandalised pretty randomly.
Yeah.
Because kids locally, the local name for it is the cave. They don't really know what it is, and that's partly kind of education's fault overall. Is how can you expect kind of younger people to take care of a site that they have no idea or no knowledge of?
The A470's just there, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Just behind here. So I've driven past this site dozens of times myself on the way up to the Brecon Beacons and not even realise I'm driving over an ancient ironworkings. What was it about this particular site that was really ideal for ironworkings?
Cyfarthfa is at the confluence of two rivers, the Fawr and the Fechan, and so you're getting two very substantial rivers flowing into one. You've got a nice access to water there. The ironstone itself, which Merthyr had in abundance, coal, which was totally and utterly needed, and then limestone, which again is everywhere. And so you had everything you needed, this kind of perfect storm of ingredients, and it all came together.
So it's fair to say then, Chris, that without the River Taff, without Merthyr's natural resources and Crawshay's vision, we probably wouldn't have had a British Industrial Revolution.
I'd argue that, definitely I'd argue that.
This was one of 4 massive ironworks in Merthyr, the flames and smoke from which would have filled this valley.
These furnaces wouldn't stop. They'd be going every day of the week for years.
24/7 burning pits.
Yes.
I bet at night time down here it must have looked pretty satanic then.
Well, people often compared Merthyr to pandemonium, you know, in Milton's poems.
Yeah.
Pandemonium and hell and things like that. People couldn't tell night from day when you came to Merthyr.
Seriously. You must have been able to see this place for miles.
Yeah, you could. As soon as you came over the valley, it was just like it was just like hell, like you say.
The conditions would have been at their most hellish inside the warren of narrow tunnels that lead to each of the furnaces. Today they're cold and dark, but over 100 years ago it would have been a totally different place.
A very knowledgeable guy who wrote several books on the iron industry called The Men Who Were Tapping Out the Furnaces, Cycloptic Workmen. And what he meant by that is they were kind of always closing the one eye, kind of struggling to keep their eyes open and see what they were doing and work, because the light coming from that molten mixture from the fire was so intense. Deafness, blindness, all of these things were regular occurrences working in ironworks because the light was so intense, the noise was so intense, the heat was so intense. All of these things could really take a toll on a person.
It's difficult to overstate the legacy of this place and the explosion of industry that happened here 250 years ago. But it wasn't only metal that poured out of this valley. The power of the ironmasters created such brutal inequality that Merthyr became a hotbed for social change. Workers' unions, the labour movement and socialism were forged here, with Merthyr electing Keir Hardie as the first ever Labour Member of Parliament.
It's hard to imagine, but the iron that was made here built our empire, it built our industry, railways, fought our wars. And here it is, just underneath the main road, crumbling, litter-strewn, forgotten. It's hard not to feel a sense of sadness about that, really. It's an absolutely remarkable place.
In recent years, like many valleys towns, Merthyr and its people have fallen on hard times, blighted by unemployment and ill health. But to come here on a fine summer's day, with the flies dancing on the river, it's hard to see why. With the heavy industry all but gone, the waters of the Taff run clear once more.
Funny old place to start a fishing trip, Dan, though, with the city centre bus stop over there and in the middle of a car park.
You do get some people that say, oh, there's no fish in there, it's too polluted and stuff like that, but no, say that and you catch a fish straight in front of us.
Is that right?
Yeah, but no, there's plenty of fish in here and I'm sure we'll have a good couple today. Yes, the pheasant tails.
Dan Pop is a Merthyr boy and top trout fisherman. He's seen firsthand how the river has recovered.
I'm pretty nervous, actually. I'm not going to lie to you. This water is considerably faster than I'm used to. I'll follow you.
Right. We have to jump over a fence here now, mind.
All right, brilliant.
And down onto the river bank. Yeah. Put the bag down there.
Yeah, over we go. It's a bit high, mate.
No. Just watch your foot in for any big boulders. Wee, and there's a big boulder here.
Steady on. You ever fallen in, Dan?
Yes.
I think I'm all right, Dan, but I'm not so macho that I won't ask you for your hand if I need it. It's a funny old feeling, Dan, to be effectively stood wedged between A roads and a car park and, fishing in the middle of a town, basically, aren't we?
It's surprising sometimes what an urban river can produce, isn't it?
Dan hasn't just witnessed a change in the river, but in Merthyr too.
The industries had all gone. There was nothing here, and they got a bit of a reputation then. And it's stuck. It has, unfortunately. But the town itself has changed incredibly.
Yeah.
You've got to look around us here now. You've got a new college for there. The town itself has been redone, and it's still improving it.
Hey, up a mint.
Can you feel anything shaking?
Serious,
yes, it
mate,
is.
serious.
Oh, it's a big fish. Don't leave the line go slack. Keep tension all the time. Reel in a bit. Otherwise, the fish is bullying you. You're not bullying the fish.
All right,
not
got
too
you.
tight though. If it needs to run, leave it run.
Oh, Dan.
Watch out for them boulders. Fish is bullying you now.
Hell. Oh, I'm shaking. Please stay on, please stay on.
Keep his head above the water.
Oh, it's his brown trouser time, mate.
Got him.
Yes, get in!
Nice, hey. Nice fish, buddy.
Oh, buddy. Oh, he's beautiful. That is by far and away the biggest wild brown trout
He's
I've
lively.
ever had. He certainly is. He's wild by name and nature. But just look at those markings, those iridescent spots running the whole length down. And, sometimes you'll catch these fish and, you might get half a dozen or a dozen spots, but you see here it's gone all the way down. And, that's the sign of a clean, clear river. It has to create that incredible camouflage just to survive in a place like this. And he's obviously done very well, hasn't he? Because he's got to a big old weight. There it is. That is absolutely extraordinary.
You don't know what's on your doorstep, some people, do they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There we are, one last look. People would travel a very long way for a fish like that. Wait till he gives that kick. There he goes. I can feel that. He's pretty strong, he's going. Oh, mate. Put it there, son.
Well done, buddy.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you so much. Wow.
Next time I see how coal has shaped the Taff Valley,
How's he holding that with one hand?
I fish a stretch of the river that once ran black
The fishing is just unbelievable.
and get to see the face of modern mining.
Goodness me. Wow.
Stay with us here on BBC 4. We're stopping in Wales for a tour of the Brecon Beacons with Yola Williams in just a moment this evening. Then at 9, Adam Nicholson explores the crisis in our seabird population and finds out why they're fading fast. Part 1 of a brand new 2-part programme is here in half an hour.
This is the River Taff in South Wales. It runs from the wild summits of the Brecon Beacons to the capital city, Cardiff. I love this river. I absolutely love it. 40 years ago, the Taff was declared officially dead, killed by centuries of heavy industry. But today, it's one of the finest fishing rivers in Wales.
How is that fish still on?
My name is Will Millard. I'm a writer and a fisherman. I want to see how this river has come back to life.
So cold.
It may be short. You can walk the length of the Taff in 3 days. But it runs through a stunning landscape packed with history. I want to get to know this river.
Damn.
From source to sea.
Salmon from the city centre. What a river.
This is the story of the River Taff. I grew up fishing the still waters of the Norfolk Fens, a long way from the Taff Valley, but my grandfather was from Yorkshire and spent his life working in the coal mines.
My granddad had an immensely hard time down the pits. And throughout his life, he always carried these big white handkerchiefs and he would cough up coal dust into his handkerchief. I remember even as a kid thinking, why is my granddad coughing black, you know? I felt so far removed really from what he'd done. And then as he got into his later years and, you know, he started to suffer from ill health, I remember going to see him in hospital, and I'd been working in a pub. I was quite tired and I thought he wasn't watching. You know, he was an exceptionally tough man, and I rested my head on his on the end of his bed. And he said, "Is thee tired?" And he said it in a way that wasn't sort of, "Oh, you know, are you tired, my grandson? Oh, I hope you're not tired." It was very much in that kind of, because you shouldn't be, you know, get your head off my bed, basically. And it was the first time I'd ever seen his knee. It was in the hospital bed before he passed away. And I remember it was peeking out the side of the bed sheet, and it was tattooed black with coal. You don't forget stuff like that.
I'm halfway on my journey down the River Taff, and I'm heading south from Merthyr Tydfil. On this stretch of the river, it was coal that shaped almost 200 years of history. The industry created communities employing hundreds of thousands of people, packed into terraced houses on the banks of the river. The Taff was a vital resource. It fed the canals that carried this black gold down to the sea. But water from the river was also used to wash coal, resulting in dust and lethal chemicals entering the watercourse. To travel down the Taff today, you have to look carefully to see any signs of coal mining. The slag heaps have been grassed over and the pit wheels dismantled. To find out more about the industry that transformed the Taff, I'm heading up one of its tributaries, the Rhondda River. This was once the Lewis Merthyr Colliery, but it's now the Rhondda Heritage Park.
It's part of history. Even for me now, like I finished, I'd say a couple of years ago, 20 years ago since I finished in the pits.
Ivor England and Graham Williams spent almost 80 years underground between them.
So that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about. A lot of lives were lost getting that stuff up from underground, isn't it?
The coal from pits like this fueled the British Empire, but it came at a heavy price. Waste from the collieries was washed into the rivers. It's estimated that in a single year over 100,000 tonnes of colliery waste was dumped into the Taff. But for men like Ivor and Graham, mining was a way of life.
This, in my opinion, is what all men who started work remember. You stood in the queue and waited till the time came.
To go into what?
To go in the cage.
Go into that?
Yeah. Well, the cage is going down, coming up, going down.
I assumed that was just for the truck.
Shift men were still coming up the pit. The banksman, as they called him, he's responsible to make sure you go in, come out. Get down. Press the button, ding, ding, ding. Down she'd go.
Ivor and Graham were both teenagers when they first went underground, descending almost 500 metres to pit bottom.
I remember the first time I got out the cage, seeing horses for the first time that I heard so much about, you know. Horses were still underground, weren't they? They come up once a year.
Life in the mines was tough, dark, dirty and dangerous. But a camaraderie was formed between the men, who shared an equally dark sense of humour.
I remember when I was about 18, I went on the coal first dive and I was going to a rough place in the rib. And it was all crushing and cracking and everything was moving. And two of the old collies there sharpening hatchets, and they said, do you think you'd come out of there? And the one said, well, maybe a man would have a chance, but not a bloody boy like I had no chance at all. And then the one said, you caught in? Yeah, beautiful girl. Blonde girl, she looked lovely in black.
Oh, God.
And I was going in there shaking, like, so.
Good grief.
A lot of black humour.
Yeah.
I can remember going home, my mother saying, oh, look at your hands, all blisters and cuts and things like that. What's the matter with your stomach later? What's the matter with your stomach? I'd be laughing so much.
The deep mine shafts here have been capped, but the lifts remain and now simulate the sensation of going underground.
The signal to the winder, and we'll be on our way. Now, normally this would be about 9 meters a second, and by now it would take your breath away, your stomach will be left in your mouth.
I know that we're not going underground and I still feel nervous.
You would.
Yeah, well, Ivor's behind you.
You would be.
I'd be nervous with Ivor on my shoulder. Now we're down, lads. I can open the door, all right?
The tunnels of the working pit would have stretched for almost 30 miles. But with the help of ex-miners, a section of this old mine has been recreated.
What they do here, well, this is where we show you how to use explosives in a coal mine.
Right.
See what I can show you.
God, it's like TNT from the cartoons, isn't it?
More powerful than dynamite. In one of those, you put little electronic detonators with these wires attached. The shots one then would just connect that to a little battery. Go and have a go, Will. You can press the button.
But of course, nothing's going to happen today.
Nothing's going to happen today. Of course, it's all...
The floor did shake then.
No, you must have imagined that.
It did shake.
I didn't know it was charged up.
I did.
Yes.
Today, these proud men spend their days telling visitors about the industry that shaped their lives.
Pneumatic pick puncher, we call it.
The tools they used are now artefacts in a museum.
So you can have that.
How is he holding that with one hand?
Working down here in the heat, the dust and the dark took its toll. Injuries and death were all too common, with tens of thousands killed underground. But even those who survived still carry the scars.
You've got pneumatic tools, vibrating, you're shaking you, and it breaks down the nerve endings in your fingers.
Right.
So, now, I haven't got to that extent, actually. But some men who worked in the pits, they can barely pick up a pint. It's like my dad. He had it quite badly. He had to pick up pint, 2 hands.
For me, as incredible as this place looks, you know, as authentic as you guys can get it, the most authentic thing in this museum right now is you. And once your generation passes on, who's going to be there to tell the stories?
I just tell the kids now, I say, look, talk to us. We like dinosaurs. We'll be extinct shortly. Yeah. So Ivor, authentic coal mining, I was. But, yeah, we are a dying breed.
There are men here to tell the story of the tremendous social culture that built up around coal mining. The life in the pubs, the life in the clubs, as I played in the band. All these things were there, all coming out of the miners' pay, didn't it? The miners' determination to make life easier. Education, learning. There was an optimism, things are going to get better. There was a belief in people, things are going to get better. I wouldn't say that's now. I wouldn't. I don't think people are going to say that things are going to get better. No, there's a disillusionment. We know where we come from, but the difficulty is finding where we're going. You know.
Coal mining created the South Wales valleys, but it killed the River Taff. This film shows what the river was like in the town of Pontypridd during the 1950s.
What's he after? Has he caught anything? No fish, I'm afraid, here. No, not in 1956.
While the Taff perished, the communities on its banks flourished. Rugby, chapels, choirs, working men's clubs were born out of the pits, and some still persist. Founded here in the Rhondda Valley in 1880, this is one of the oldest colliery bands in Wales. Ivor once played the trombone for the band, but there are few miners here today.
I think 18 of the men, of the 25 men in this band, when I started work, were working underground, including the band conductor.
Wales and the United Kingdom have got a great tradition of bands that have been associated with collieries. They closed the last ones in the early 90s, and ever since then, you know, the bands have been reliant on themselves to kind of reinvent themselves, find a new way of sustaining themselves without the support of the collieries, and indeed without the influx of members from the colliery as well. A lot of the members are young, a lot of the members are female. You know, it's a different world. The challenge is now that loss of employment. That was the thing that kept everybody together. That was the thing that was the cohesive unit in the community. We don't have that anymore. We train the kids, and then, as I did, they go away, they go to university. They don't necessarily come back, and it would be the employment that would draw them back. So that's the constant challenge for us, really.
Do you think the brass bands then have helped to sort of keep the community together and give you guys something to sort of bond around?
Yeah, because my father, he is a musician as well, so he's passed on that to me as well. My brother, he's also a musician as well, and he's gone through the brass bands as well, so I think it's a great opportunity for communities to bond and get to know each other.
These bands were hugely important to the life of the colliery. And following the miners' strike of the 1980s, it was the bands who led the men back to work. Ivor was there, proudly playing his trombone.
The bells were ringing in the church there. All the media were there. We lined up in front of all the people, and huge, hundreds of people. And I was playing the trombone. I was on the corner there, and we marched up the roadway. Then the manager shook hands with us all, and down the pit I went.
How can you not be moved by this? It's absolutely beautiful.
This music carries the sadness and the pride of an industry brought to its knees. The collapse of coal mining in Wales left thousands of miners unemployed and many valleys communities broken. I'm rejoining the Taff in Pontypridd, and I've come to meet Paul Jenkins, an ex-miner and now captain of the Welsh fly fishing team.
The river in those days would be black, absolutely black. If you put your hand in the water, you wouldn't be able to see it 3 inches below the surface.
Is that right?
Most of the time. In fact, we used to look forward to the 2-week miners' holidays because the river would clear a little bit then for those 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, just for those 2 weeks.
We're in the centre of town, fishing for grayling.
Oh, that looks good.
That cast deserved a fish.
Yep. If the fish takes again, just lift gently into it rather than strike.
Yes! Oh, it's another grayling, I think.
First grayling.
Yeah, first grayling on the fly. And that's what you get for talking about fish that you haven't got into the bank.
Nearly your first grayling.
Yeah, nearly my first grayling. Right, your turn, I think. I knew he was going to be a lot better than me at this, but whenever he sees a rising fish, he's on it. Straight away he's in. Whoa, brilliant. Here it comes.
Small grayling.
Grayling. Fantastic.
These are no more than a year or two old. There's a lot of grayling this size in the river this year.
Right.
Which means the last couple of years have been good spawning years, so a couple of years' time now these fish will be up over a pound. Fantastic fish.
Gorgeous.
He's away.
He's away.
Paul spent decades working underground. But for him, it all came to an end with the 1984 miners' strike.
Tell me what life was like on the strike.
People really struggled, you know. I was, at the time, I was living with my father. My mother had died a couple of years before. And he was a collier. I was a collier. So we had 2 colliers in my house, and there was no money coming in at all for 12 months. It was tough. It was really tough.
The miners' strike saw violent clashes between miners and police, conflict within coal mining towns themselves, and desperate times for miners and their families.
We were relying in those days on the generosity of the community. And I think it became apparent that the strike was more than just about closing pits. The ultimate goal, I'm sure, of the government at the time was to defeat not only the NUM, but the unions in total. And over the years since the strike, they've achieved that.
While the end of heavy industry was devastating for the people of the valleys, it was a lifeline for the Taff. Without the coal dust from the collieries, the river began to run clear again, and the fish began to return.
They say every cloud is a silver lining. And yeah, we lost the pits, but look at this. I don't know what's for the best. Perhaps it was the blessed.
Just got to watch that pink indicator on the surface, and when that goes, high strike. That's the theory anyway.
There's a salmon again.
Did you get that? Oh, not
he's
paying
got a
attention and he's in again. Yes,
you
get
got him.
in. Oh, that's a lovely fish. See, that's how they're able to turn so sharply, isn't it? That massive, massive sail dorsal fin. I bet 30 years ago when you were still working in the pits, you'd never imagine you'd catch a fish like this.
No, certainly not grading. They will only really survive in clean water. So that's an indication that this river has recovered.
Right, let's get him back in. Ooh, he's a good fish.
Take your time now because it's very light leader on it. That's a trout, isn't it?
This is definitely the best fish of the day.
Oh, without a doubt. Oh, it's a trout.
Oh, it is a trout.
It's a big trout. There he is.
Oh, there's a salmon.
Where are we going?
I'm playing him by hand now, you better get him in.
Still on?
He's still on.
I can't see where he is.
I've got the hook in my hand.
Ah! This is getting worse.
All right. We're getting under control now. How is that fish still on? Right, stop playing games now, Will. Come
Get him
on.
in the net then. Get him to the surface. There we go. Here he comes.
We did not deserve that fish.
Oh, you can see that again. Look at the colours on that.
Wow, look at that. What will you give me for that? £2 maybe?
Yeah, getting on for 2.
He's
Yeah.
getting on for 2.
Getting on for 2. There you are. You can let him go if you like.
I would love to let him go.
It's been 30 years since the majority of the pits closed. But there is still coal beneath these hills. 10 miles back upriver, coal is once again coming out of the Taff Valley. But it's a far cry from the deep mines of the last century.
What do you think, Will?
That is unbelievable.
Forsa Vran, on the ridge above Merthyr Tydfil, is the biggest open-cast coal mine in Britain.
deep is that, Denzel?
It's 165 metres.
165 metres.
Denzel Hopkins has been working here since the operation began in 2007.
We're just going down into the mine now.
There is a stigma attached to this sort of mining, isn't there? You know,
Yeah.
people say it's dirty, that we shouldn't be reliant on fossil fuels anymore, that we should be trying to move on and look for more kind of sustainable, greener energy.
Yeah, and until we can get this greener energy, or until we can find another alternative fuel, we've got to have coal.
Concerns over climate change mean the age of coal is drawing to a close. But the UK is still heavily reliant on coal. Even with mines like these, we still import 80% of the coal we burn. And this mine is a big employer in a valley that needs jobs. Over 200 staff work on site. Most of the coal from here is either sent to be burnt in Aberthaw Power Station or for steel production in Port Talbot, supporting thousands more jobs. Whatever your views, it's hard not to be impressed by the scale of this operation.
That is quite an intimidating piece of machinery.
Operating this 250-ton excavator is one of the most skilled jobs on site. And at the controls is Brian Wilkins.
Well, if you just want to press the top button but then lift the ladder up,
Right.
we're all ready to go.
This is a hell of a vehicle. There we go. No way back now. God, Brian, incredible feeling of power, is it?
It can be, yeah. But it's just like getting into my car in the morning, coming to work.
What car do you drive?
It's a Ford Focus.
There are 4 of these huge machines on this site, plus a dozen smaller diggers, filling 28 massive dump trucks.
How much does each pass weigh?
Around about 25 tonnes.
25 tonnes, so there's 100 tonnes
Yeah.
of rock going in that.
In one load, yeah.
You're quite delicate with it, really.
Yeah, it's just because you like doing it so much. You spend so much time doing it. It just comes natural, really.
Right.
Yeah, it just comes natural. Do you want to go?
I'd love a go. You're not going to let me have a go, are you?
I would, but I don't know whether they would.
On an average week, man and machine can move around 200,000 cubic metres of rock to reach the coal.
We've got it really easy compared to what the miners had years ago. I got all my comfort in here, radio, air conditioning, everything really.
Yeah. And you're digging one man.
Yeah.
Shifting, what, 100 tonnes in less than 5 minutes?
In the past 8 years, over 6 million tonnes of high-quality steam coal has been mined from here. From the bottom of the hole, you can see the distinct seams, the riches of the South Wales coalfield laid bare.
That's an old pillar.
Yes,
That's part of an old pillar.
But it isn't only coal the miners have unearthed.
So right now, Denzel, I'm standing in
You were
effectively an
standing in a
old
working- yeah.
coal mine.
Yes.
So not that long ago, there would have been people down here working on their hands and knees with tools.
Yes. Just with a pick and shovel.
Right. And here we are now with the sunshine on our backs and
Sunshine miners.
sunshine miners.
Before the open cast mining began here, the mountain was strewn with dozens of old mine shafts.
Look at that.
That would have been still in, wouldn't it?
Yeah. God, it's mad to think, isn't it, Denzel,
Yeah.
that people trusted their life in that piece of wood.
They depended on that
Yeah.
piece of wood for their lives. And you look how bent that has
Yeah.
become.
You're stopping the weight of all of those hundreds of metres of rock and coal from crashing down on your head with a piece of wood that I
Yeah.
can hold the width of with just one hand. It's absolutely
It's amazing.
mind-blowing. It's amazing. It is amazing.
Today, with the latest technology and by literally moving the mountain, these miners are able to extract almost every last ounce of coal. But there is another side to this open cast operation. As well as removing the coal, The owners also have to put right a landscape that has been exploited for over 100 years.
So what's happened here?
We've just restored it all the way from the outer edge there. Restored it all back.
Yeah.
Last year we baled hay on here. There was hay baled off here, you know.
3 years ago, this was the same as that hole just over there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm proud of the fact that I've been part of not only the way we're taking the coal out, but the way we're putting the ground back.
Yeah.
Coal mining has changed beyond recognition. An industry that once choked the Taff is now subjected to strict environmental controls to put right the wrongs of the past. For centuries, our insatiable demand for coal drew people to this valley. Communities were created and the environment was changed forever.
The guts of this landscape have been torn right out of this valley. I can't imagine a place that's been exploited to such an extent as this place has been. So much wealth. And yet, it's all been flushed downstream and gone elsewhere.
While the industry and much of the wealth it created may have gone, the people and their pride are still here. Next time, I'm heading to the city.
This river is completely hidden.
I meet people who have fallen in love with the river.
On 3, yeah? 1.
But as I approach the end of my journey, the Taff has one final surprise.
I do not believe it!
Heading into the Brecon Beacons next tonight here on BBC4 as Yola Williams finds a wall in his path. And then the second part of Adam Nicholson's brand new programme heads to Iceland, where the future looks grim for the seabirds.
This is the River Taff in South Wales. It runs from the wild summits of the Brecon Beacons to the capital city, Cardiff. I love this river. I absolutely love it. 40 years ago, the Taff was declared officially dead, killed by centuries of heavy industry. But today, it's one of the finest fishing rivers in Wales.
How is that fish still on?
My name is Will Millard. I'm a writer and a fisherman. I want to see how this river has come back to life.
So cold.
It may be short. You can walk the length of the Taff in 3 days. But it runs through a stunning landscape packed with history. I want to get to know this river.
Damn.
From source to sea.
Salmon from the city centre. What a river.
This is the story of the River Taff. I'm on the final stretch of my journey down the River Taff, and this is a voyage through modern Wales. I'm heading south from Pontypridd towards Cardiff and the Bristol Channel, where the Taff empties into the sea. I've teamed up with canoeist and conservationist Paul Kent.
How long have you been on the Taff, Paul?
Well, either working or taking my leisure on it, probably 20 odd years now.
Really?
I've basically either walked or paddled, or in some cases even swum, the entire length of it. So I do know it very well from that sort of point of view.
What do you love about it, Paul?
It's a wild place in the middle of a very urban environment.
The banks of the river here are lined with warehouses, factories and office buildings, but from the water they're completely hidden.
All it takes is that thin band of trees, 10 metres or so of trees, and it's gone from an urban environment to a rural river.
Yeah.
It's an area to come and have a bit of peaceful recreation and on another time have a good thrill.
First rapid on the River Taff. I'm pretty nervous. It certainly won't be the first time I've ever capsized. Forget that thought, Will. Forget that thought.
The Taff is one of the steepest rivers south of the Scottish border. It descends almost 900 metres in just 40 miles. Rain that falls in Merthyr Tydfil can be in Cardiff Bay within just 4 hours.
Straighten. Straighten. Damn. Downstream, lean.
Well done.
C+.
You didn't end up upside down, that's good enough.
Honestly, those rapids felt faster than they looked.
Doesn't seem to matter how far I come down this river, I'm still constantly impressed at just how little effort it takes to feel like you're in a really nice, wild, natural spot. Do you think people's perception of the river has changed at all?
Probably not. Probably not. A lot of people still regard it as the industrial sewer it was for 150 years.
The disregard for the Taff can be seen in the towns that line its banks. Historically, the people of the valley literally turned their backs on the polluted river, with the houses built facing away from its waters.
I guess, when the houses were built and the factory units were built, the river wasn't important. The important thing was the road in front. So the houses all back onto the river.
As we make our way down the Taff, the river begins to change. It's wider and slower, a river fit for a capital city.
There's a constant drone in the background here. Like one that we've not actually experienced so far on this paddle, and that can mean only one thing, which is that we're approaching Cardiff and we're approaching the M4 bridge.
Passing beneath the motorway, I'm now on the outskirts of the city. And I've got a very early start in the morning.
It's 8 o'clock on Saturday morning and I'm wandering around the bushes in a park in Cardiff dressed in rubber because I'm hoping I'm going to meet a group of Cardiff residents that celebrate the River Taff in their own very unique way. And I really do hope that they're here, otherwise I'm going to make some very special friends or get arrested. Thank goodness for that. Morning everybody. I'm Will. Nice to meet you all. So what's the plan?
Gonna go swimming.
We're going to go swimming. Brilliant. I've come prepared.
These are the members of the Living Taff Project, a group of dedicated enthusiasts and academics who have made it their mission to reconnect people with the river.
One of the reasons behind the Living Taff is to make people aware of what a beautiful resource it is, because it was forgotten for hundreds of years, because it had become the deposit for the Industrial Revolution. We were feeding the world with coal, with iron, and suddenly things have changed and the nature has come back again.
This is all very lovely, isn't it? I'd be probably just about getting up now, making myself a cup of tea. Instead I'm about to go in the River Taff for a swim with a new group of friends. She's brave.
It must have snowed on the Brecon Beacons last night.
Even the dog's feeling the cold.
What is it about wild swimming that gets you down here in the morning when most people are in bed? And
I just feel it makes you feel really alive.
absolutely.
You're out of the comfort bubble of a heated house and a carpeted room, and you're amongst elements like look at the water, like just water and stone and leaves and sunlight.
I'll be honest though, I do feel like my heart's about to burst out my wetsuit.
That is bracing.
Yeah, it's amazing the range of things your body can feel that normally you don't feel.
Yeah. Your body can feel a range of things right now. I can't feel anything.
For many of the people here, there is more to the Taff than just fun and games. They recognise the vital role rivers play in our landscape.
When you guys aren't swimming in the Taff, what do you do for a living?
I work doing environmental engineering, so it's a lot of work to do with the river itself and trying to improve water quality.
Okay, cool. How about yourself?
So I actually work with Rosie, looking at sewage overflows into rivers.
Do you?
Yeah, and trying to monitor and control that.
Okay.
So yeah, dipping in the river before work kind of motivates me to work a bit harder during the day.
Lots of the problem comes from increasing urbanisation and the amount of runoff, so people are paving over their driveways. Of course, all the water that falls on there is just washed straight into the sewage system and then washes off into the rivers. So you get lots of catchment problems with the amount of sediment going into the river, the sewer systems are overloaded and it causes flooding.
Over the years, Cardiff has seen its fair share of flooding. Heavy rains and high tides would cause havoc in the city streets.
Parts of Cardiff were underwater, including the city's historic Victorian thoroughfare, Cathedral Road.
Now, with the threat of climate change, we're at last beginning to understand the importance of our natural river systems.
There's lots of schemes now where we're looking at green infrastructure in the towns and cities and catchments like this. So instead of having only grey, hard infrastructure like pipes and concrete, we're using nature to do its work for us. So creating big green basins where the water can rush into and sit there for a while before it slowly goes back into the river. So there's loads of really exciting work being done in Wales.
All right, so on three, yeah? 1, 2.
We've been conditioned to be afraid of our rivers, to hide them from view, and in doing so we neglect them. But they're special places that need our help, and we lose touch with them at our peril. I'm nearly home now, a few miles from the city centre. On this stretch of the river there is one group of people who have never forgotten the treasures of the Taff. The river draws a die-hard bunch of anglers to its banks year-round.
You all right, Rich?
Hey, Will, you okay?
How's it going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate.
You had any luck?
Not yet.
Good to see you, pal.
Soon will, though, don't worry about that.
It's good of you to give me the downstream peg, Rich.
Ah, well, I've got to be nice to you at some point, haven't I?
Rich Cox is from Gabalva, a large estate that backs onto the river. He works in the local tackle shop and has been selling me bait since I moved to Cardiff.
That smells like hot sick.
The barbel absolutely love these things.
Really?
I'm hoping he can help me catch a fish that has so far eluded me. The barbel.
Tried all through last season, June, July, nothing. I think I've probably put in, getting on for 100 hours now without even a bite.
There's a lot of big fish in this water, but it's just finding them.
This bottom-feeding monster is often nicknamed the golden torpedo. It's a tricky fish to catch. Even if you hook one, it can be a real fight to land it. The record on the Taff is a whopping 19 pounds 2 ounces. But the best barbel spots are a closely guarded secret.
It's like a little social group, isn't it, the barbel fishermen of Gabalfa? I've heard them be called the Taffia. See your rod tip bouncing around now. You see, I'd be striking those. You see, that's probably where I've been going wrong. Catching leaves. Oh, there's half a trolley down here, Rich.
Nothing new.
Yeah.
Used to be full up on the rocks. You couldn't fish the rock pool at some point because there'd be so many cars in. The police would be down pulling them out. It's a constant feature. Motorbikes, push bikes, trolleys, everything. The river was like a jungle. And to push a float through a trolley or round a trolley, round a motorbike and try and find fish hiding behind the actual obstacles in the water. It was quite rough in those days. Really totally different from it is now.
Cardiff born and bred, Rich hasn't only seen a change in the river, but in the city too.
Everything is new and it just keeps growing and growing. And that's why it's attracting so many people to come here now. Much better now, much nicer city to live in.
Wow, water's coming up.
It still makes my
Heart in your mouth.
Yeah. I actually thought that was a fish. Then it's not. It's got to be weed. Yeah.
We're not having much luck.
Another leaf fish?
Another leaf fish.
The river is flowing fast and a lot of leaves are getting tangled in our lines.
Don't think we've got much time left here, have we, Rich?
Not at all. The river's rising quite fast, mate.
Oh dear. I might have to chalk another one up to the River Taff here, I think. Beaten again.
I've been incredibly lucky fishing the Taff, but it looks like the Cardiff barbel will remain the one that got away. As you follow the Taff south towards the city centre, the river flows through vast parklands, a green heart to the city and testament to the vast wealth that once flowed down from the valleys and out to sea. The river that was once a black industrial sewer is now a place of leisure. Cardiff's seen huge investment in recent years. It's now a vibrant city, and it's sport that draws many visitors.
It's days like today I absolutely love being in Cardiff. There's a match day on. Go France! There's at least 5 or 6 different nationalities walking up and down the street. It's a great, great atmosphere. But where I'm stood right here, the River Taff used to flow right through this area. That's actually Key Street over there. And it was straightened so they could put the railway line in. And now we have this fantastic stadium, quite possibly one of the best stadiums in the world, right on the banks.
Opened in 1999 as the Millennium Stadium, Cardiff's Coliseum draws huge crowds. But it was the Taff that made Cardiff. The city's role as a port put it on the world stage. It was a hub for trade and people.
I'm a migrant myself here, of course. I moved here for work, found a lady, settled down. And, you know, that's what capital cities are all about, really. It's opportunity, commerce, you know. Lots of people have come here historically over the years looking for the same sorts of opportunities. And a lot of people have made Wales their home as a result of that. And that's sort of, you know, the story of a river mouth, really. Big port towns bring people in, bring people together.
By the end of the 19th century, Cardiff had transformed from one of the smallest towns in Wales to the largest. And its port was handling more coal than anywhere else in the world. On the eve of the First World War in 1913, coal exports reached their peak at over 10 million tonnes. And at Cardiff's Grand Coal Exchange, the world's first £1 million cheque was signed. People came from all over the empire and beyond to work on the ships and in the vast docks, and many never left. This is the Red Sea House in the Butetown area of the city. It's home to a group of men who came to Wales in the 50s and 60s from Somalia, Somaliland, Djibouti and the Yemen.
What was Cardiff like when you first arrived in the 50s?
Too many troubles here really in Bew Street at night. The ships used to come in there, American, Greek ships, Spanish ships, they fight amongst them. But the people, Somali people, poor people, everybody living here, they're all right. Some bad ones, man, about, and some good ones around, see?
By the 1940s, the city was home to people from all over the world, with over 50 nationalities living side by side in Cardiff's Tiger Bay, including one of the oldest Muslim communities in Britain. And these old seamen remember Cardiff as a very different place.
Oh, dhismaheedu marka ayamka different bay. Wax dhisma yar yar oo qala yar yar oo gaagaaban. Dariiqu way qulun way yar oo cidhiidhiya buu ahaa. Oo labada highway-gan ma jirin.
Cardiff accommodation ma wacnayn. Waxaan ku soo degay aqal halkan Maraaya Street. Wuxuu ahaa boarding house. Godkaadiga dabadda loogu bixi jiray markaad doonaysa inaad qabato. Dhaxanta barafkaad sii mari jirto dabaddaad ugu bixi jirtay.
Faarutu markaa sida odaygu sheegay. Godkaadigu dabaddu ahaa. Baadkan marka aad soo baadgalee. Waxaanu qaban jiray toonka. 2 meelood oo toonka ka soo maydin jiray. Meel waxa weeyaan halkan imika kubadda lagu ciyaaro maxaa la yiraahdaa? Millennium Stadium. Millennium Stadium baad buu ahaan jiray babdi baad. Xagga joojir weydna mid baa ahaan jiray.
From the mean streets of Cardiff, they sailed the 7 seas. Between them, there's hardly a continent on Earth they haven't been to.
كثير ده واحد تجي كالد باشيلا هذا في شعيلة استراليا واتجي نيوزيلند واتجي ديل سنغافور واتجي أندلسيا واتجي سنغافور واتجي هندية واتجي باكستان واتجي السعودية واتجي دوني دولار مري فروش واتجي أمريكا دولار مري ماتوريتي أمريكا أنت بدولار مري أمريكا ساوث أمريكا يوناني أمريكا كول سولدن ماتوريتي وان مري.
While they travelled the world, their families remained in their home countries. But what money they earned would be sent back. Cardiff became their home.
We used to go up the valley. Up the valley we used to go from here that trip on a bus. We used to go every Saturday and Sunday, dance up there. They look at you, they call you names and all this. I took no notice. You can't fight them over there, they put you on well. Oh, you can't fight half a dozen of you. Swansea, Newport, up the Pontypridd, Bridgend. We used to go round. He was here and all there, going with us and bus dancing. Rock and roll. It used to be rock and roll days. Yeah, they used to love dancing.
But when they retired, many chose not to return to live with their loved ones, preferring instead to settle here, alongside the men they shared their adventures with. At the end of the Second World War, demand for coal slumped, and international markets were lost as other countries developed their own steel industries. Shipping trade was increasingly lost to container ports, and by the 1960s, coal exports in Cardiff had virtually ceased. The docks are still here, but they tell the story of a very different economy. Where once we exported the coal that fueled the Industrial Revolution, now we import petrol and diesel for our cars. Welsh iron and steel once left these docks to help build the new world. Now we export our waste for recycling.
It's quite hard now to imagine what this place was like when Cardiff was such a big coal port. But it was coal that made Cardiff, and it was coal that built this port, essentially. But now that's all changed. This is a service sector economy, and Cardiff Bay is all restaurants, pubs, and coffee shops.
But it wasn't always like this. By the early 1980s, Cardiff Bay had become a wasteland of crumbling docks and tidal mudflats. The people of Cardiff Bay suffered too. The community where so many of the dock workers had lived became blighted by poverty and unemployment. It was decided that something had to be done to breathe new life into the area. The plan was to flood the mudflats and create a 200-hectare freshwater lagoon. A barrage was built across the mouth of the Taff, and Cardiff Bay would become a model for urban regeneration.
When I first came here in mid-70s, I suppose, this area was just a relict area. You could see the vestiges of the Industrial Revolution gradually disappearing or collapsing and being left where they fell.
Pete Goff works with Natural Resources Wales and has been involved with the Taff and the Bay for over 25 years.
I think it's nice they've left some of the residual bits of the port here like this. I mean, it reminds everyone exactly what the heritage of this place is.
While remnants of the past remain, little is left of the natural environment. The mudflats were a site of special scientific interest, hosting over 8,000 wintering wading birds. When the plan was approved, that habitat was flooded, and with a price tag of £200 million, many questioned if the development was worth the environmental and financial cost. Today the bay is strictly regulated, and around £6 million a year is spent on maintaining this man-made landscape.
The Cardiff Bay Barrage Act specified a water quality standard for Cardiff Bay, and it's probably one of the most trying standards in terms of water quality I've ever heard of. They had to ensure that dissolved oxygen never fell below 5 milligrams per litre anywhere, ever. Now, most environmental standards are set in terms of percentiles, 98% of the time it mustn't be this or that.
But here, the standard was absolute, 100%. And that's a real challenge.
For fish, one of the most crucial parts of Cardiff Bay is contained within the barrage itself.
The whole of the River Taff and the River Ely and its salmon and sea trout and eel and lamprey populations all depend on that structure working to its design specification.
Since the barrage was completed in 2001, this fish pass has allowed migratory fish species to pass from the saltwater of the Bristol Channel into the freshwater of the bay before continuing upriver. It's estimated that every year up to 600 salmon travel through the pass.
How do you know so precisely that those fish are coming through?
They travel through a fish counting system, which is called a VACI system, and it consists of parallel plates, and the fish swim through those plates, and as they do so, they intercept infrared beams. An object passing through it triggers a count, but also produces a profile image of whatever triggered that count.
Work has been done all the way up the Taff to allow fish to return to the river. The old industrial weirs have been modified with fish ladders, and the river has been stocked with farmed fish. Some of those fish were fitted with radio tags, and in 2013 one of them, Salmon 66, was tracked as far north as Merthyr. Those stocked fish are breeding, and for the first time in 200 years, salmon are spawning in the upper reaches of the Taff.
Everyone recognises that salmon indicate good environmental quality, and that's nearly always true. So knowing that salmon are thriving in the River Taff is really important to the residents of Merthyr Tydfil and Pontypridd and Cardiff. Their river is clean enough for these fish to do well again. This is a genuine example of a river that was biologically dead, and today it's thriving, you know, and it's a testament to an enormous amount of work by a lot of people. It's testament to the decline and demise of heavy industry as well, of course, and we shouldn't forget that. But, you know, the river itself has done the job at the end of the day, and it just shows you how resilient nature can be.
With the river and the bay behind me, I'm heading through the barrage and into the Bristol Channel.
This is it. This is the end of the River Taff's journey, and it's the end of my journey. Through a giant pair of lock gates.
I've reached the end of an amazing journey down an incredible river.
This is it. This is the source of the River Taff.
The story of the Taff is the story of South Wales.
It's pretty wild out here.
From the ancient summits of the Brecon Beacons, the river flows through a landscape shaped by over 200 years of history.
It wasn't just of huge significance to Merthyr, it was of huge significance to the world, essentially.
The river has bore witness to a vast amount of change. Iron and coal brought people to the Taff, but together they killed it.
The river in those days would be black.
Now, with people and nature working in harmony, the river runs clear once more. The Taff is alive. I'm back to where I started, my favourite fishing spot on my favourite river, in the centre of Cardiff.
Oh, it's a rock. When that reel goes.
And this glorious, abused and resilient little river has one last surprise for me.
I do not believe it. It's a salmon. Oh, he knows he's hooked. Please stay on. Oh, come on now. Gently, gently. Oh, blimey, this is the worst bit now, you see, in amongst these shallow rocks. Oh, it's a good fish. Come on now, get his head up. Keep his head up. Head up. Turn back. Oh, now you're joking, man. Come on. Oh. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. What a fish. That's not long out to sea. It's still very silver. and he's on his way back upstream to spawn. Do you know, that was a tremendous fight. God, I'm shaking like a leaf. It's amazing. We're in the middle of Cardiff, and here I am cradling the king of fish. This river was declared officially dead, and if you're looking for any other sign that this river has truly, truly made the most remarkable comeback of all rivers, it's this fish that I'm cradling right here. Cast iron evidence that this river is back from the dead. Thank you very much, my friend. I'm going to give you a little kiss. Good luck on your journey. Say hello to Merthyr. There it goes. Salmon from the city centre. What a river.
We're joining Yola Williams in beautiful South Wales in just a moment here on BBC4. And then coming up at 9, new discoveries uncover life and death in Herculaneum as we head to Italy's other Pompeii in half an hour.